How are you all doing? Okay, so today we're going to talk about what some of us know to be called the midlife crisis. For you 40 something year olds and older, you may have had people tell you that what you're experiencing when you decide to make major life changes is that you're just going through a midlife crisis. Well, the thing about that is, it's not necessarily a bad thing, first of all. Second of all, it's very, very common. And third, sometimes it can be a really good thing. Okay, so we are going to talk about from helpguide.org. It talks about midlife crisis, signs, causes, and coping tips. Now, for some of us, going through a midlife crisis can feel very scary because at the time, you may feel like your whole world is falling apart and that maybe you yourself are going a little cuckoo. Okay, so you're not alone. Alone. You're not alone because this article gives us some pinpoints on what most of us will experience at some point during our aging years. Okay, so they say midlife crisis usually takes place approximately between the ages of 40 and 60, give or take a few years. One common belief about this stage of life is that you should expect to face inner turmoil about your identity, life choices, and mortality. In other words, a midlife crisis. Okay. Psychoanalyst Elliot Jaquez coined the term midlife crisis in the 1960s. Jaquez notes that patients in their mid to late 30s seem to go through a depressive period and sudden lifestyle changes as they confronted the idea of their own mortality. So I want to pause right here because I can highly relate to this. I noticed I think way more about being more cautious, way more about my health choices, way more about pretty much, if you want to say what type of legacy I want to leave, I think a lot about that. I think about that a lot way more lately, okay? And then there's these things where you don't know how to talk as well when you get over 40. Okay, so the idea of the midlife crisis being a biological certainty spread. Nowadays, it's commonly associated with stereotypes of middle-aged men buying fancy cars or ending marriages to regain a sense of youth. I can see that happening. All right. It's true that some studies show a decline in life satisfaction and happiness as people reach midlife. I definitely can relate to that. I think when you reach this point of life, you know that you're not a spring chicken anymore, and you're more aware of that you're getting closer to aging and having certain aging issues. And so the pressure is on. But it says, but it's important to note that the drop in happiness isn't always large. And in some studies, people's satisfaction with life seems to rise as they enter midlife and then decline as they enter their later years. So for many people, crisis isn't the appropriate term to describe their midlife experience. In studies, only about 10 to 20% of adults claim to have experienced a midlife crisis. So the strange thing here, I read another article that said something that literally said the reverse. It said that when you reach 40, the anxiety and things like that of a midlife crisis is at its peak. And once you're about 60 to 65, it starts to decrease. I guess you just decide to just accept things the way they are, or maybe you made certain changes where you now feel more satisfied with life. I don't know, but that's what the other article says. So this is interesting that it says that you'll actually, you're less likely to experience it now and more likely to experience it later. Okay. While the idea of a midlife crisis being an inevitable reality doesn't hold much weight, some of us do face new stressors as we enter these years. You may start to regret your career path and feel trapped by your financial decisions. Yeah. Worry about declining your physical abilities or fret about the goals you've missed out on. Some people also see a shift or increase in responsibilities as they reach middle age. You might begin taking care of an aging parent or have to accept that your children are becoming more independent. For example, depending on your circumstances and outlook, it can be a stressful and confusing time, but midlife can also be a time of growth, stability, and joy. Learning the signs and causes of a midlife crisis can help you identify ways to handle common stressors that come with this time of your life and find ways to move forward and thrive. Okay. Signs of midlife crisis. Okay, listen up. The signs of a midlife crisis. All right. The severity of midlife crisis symptoms can vary from person to person. Gender can also play a role in how a midlife crisis unfolds. Women may be more likely to go through a period of self-reflection as they shift away from tending to the needs of others to tending to their own needs. Okay? Can I get an amen? All right. Yes. Okay. Men, on the other hand, might be more likely to feel as if their past decisions have limited their future options. Here are some signs to watch for. Deep sadness and regret. Perhaps you ruminate over perceived missed opportunities in relationships or employment. This leads to a deep unhappiness with the present and a tendency to overlook the good aspects of your life. Restlessness and daydreaming. You might feel bored or exhausted with your daily routine, whether that includes your work schedule or other responsibilities. Perhaps you start daydreaming about what life would be like if you had followed a different career path or married a different partner. The desire for change can make it hard to focus on what's in front of you. That can be a bummer. Because of course there's something good in front of you. So if you have a hard time being able to see that, that's pretty bad, unfortunately. Irritability. I can relate to that. Feeling like your past decisions have boxed you in or limited your potential can lead to sudden bouts of anger. You might grow annoyed with your spouse, aging parents, or closest friends for minor infractions. Nostalgia. Rather than focus on the positives of the present, you begin to idealize your past lifestyle. Wow. Maybe you reminisce about how athletic you used to be or how expansive your social circle was in college. Impulsive and indulgent behavior. This one right here can be very destructive. You might start making big purchases or increase alcohol and drug use to cope with feelings of discontentment. Some people start indulging more in food. Overeating out of boredom or stress. None of these behaviors completely satisfy you, but they can have health consequences. Next is changes in sexual desire. Some people experience a spike in sexual desire, while others have a decreased interest in sex. You might entertain thoughts of infidelity or engage in infidelity as you have doubts about your current relationship. That's where that spike in divorces around this age group happens. Thoughts of dating someone younger might be tied to your own insecurities about aging. Because after a while, after that young thing gets what they want out of you, honey, they hitting the road. So you better stick with what you know. Anyway, changes in ambition. You might suddenly feel motivated to make changes to your life, such as moving to a new area, buying a new home, or attaining a higher position at work. Now, that's not bad. That's not a bad little move there. This could be an attempt to correct what you now perceive as bad past decisions. Or it could just be you seeing that there's now, you can start seeing that there's some changes that need to be made and you start moving in that direction. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. On the other hand, you might feel less motivated to reach for other goals as you begin to question the purpose of your life. Some of these signs may be easily mistaken for symptoms of depression. Knowing the difference can help you address the problem. Okay, so we're going to go into what they're describing here. Depression versus midlife crisis. So listen up. This might be really helpful. Depression. Diagnosable mood disorder with an established list of diagnostic criteria. Midlife crisis, not a recognized medical or psychiatric condition. Okay. Depression. Symptoms can occur in people of any age, including teenagers and older adults. Midlife crisis. Signs occur in middle adulthood. Depression, often caused by a combination of biological, psychological, and social factors. Midlife crisis, caused by a person's reevaluation of their own life as they age. Depression, symptoms may be more persistent or severe. Midlife crisis, a sense of dissatisfaction may come and go throughout midlife. Depression, treatment may involve medication, therapy, and lifestyle changes. Midlife crisis, symptoms may subside when you regain a sense of peace in your life's direction. But I would say you could possibly have both at the same time. One could actually lead to other. A midlife crisis could cause you to fall into depression. So that's my opinion of that. So you can still benefit from getting seen for symptoms or possible depression. Okay, causes of midlife crisis. All right, let's hear what the causes are. The idea of midlife crisis might be partially or mostly shaped by cultural views. It's worth keeping in mind that not all cultures subscribe to the concept of a midlife crisis or even midlife. Western society, though, tends to paint physical aging in a negative light. Yes, they do, honey. All the wrinkle creams and all that stuff, while glorifying youth. Yes, they do. An overemphasis on senility and reduced senility. I think it's senility, but just getting older and kind of like being forgetful. And reduced physical abilities can make aging seem like a scary prospect. Yes. And it's not hard to find products promising to reduce unsightly wrinkles and gray hair, implying that you're becoming less attractive with age. Yep. Negativity around aging might make you feel a sense of despair or a drop in self-esteem as you reach midlife. You might feel compelled to reevaluate your progress in life or view this time period as simply a transition into old age. Of course, very concrete stressors or setbacks during adulthood can also exacerbate or trigger what you may consider a midlife crisis. Yes, absolutely. These stressors can involve changes to your physical health, social relationships, career, or finances. Yes, I think we all can experience that. I mean, life goes in ebbs and flows. So these things can happen maybe in your late 20s and early 30s. And then it can happen in your 40s or 50s. It just, life goes in ebbs and flows. So this really applies to most adult age groups. Physical changes. Maybe you're not as spry as you used to be. You might even be more susceptible to illness or diagnosed with a condition like high blood pressure. These physical changes can make you feel disheartened or fearful of the future. Women will experience menopause, which comes with a variety of symptoms such as hot flashes, changes in mood, and difficulty sleeping. Yeah, unfortunately. All of these may contribute to an increase in overall stress. Men may experience a gradual decline in testosterone as they age beyond 30 or 40 years old. However, factors such as illness, alcohol abuse, medication side effects, and increased body fat can also decrease testosterone. Low testosterone can lead to distressing symptoms such as depression, low sex drive, erectile dysfunction, and difficulty sleeping. Changing family dynamics. In midlife, many parents experience empty nest syndrome, a feeling of grief tied to their children moving out of the house. You might experience loneliness or feelings of emptiness as you reassess your role as a parent and refocus on yourself. Yeah, it can be a little weird experiencing that, but right now my husband and I, we're really enjoying it. But at the same time, it can be a little bit of a bummer for the kids to not be around as much. You might also experience changes in your relationship with your parents. Taking on a caretaker role for aging parents can be physically and emotionally stressful, and the passing of a parent can be incredibly heartbreaking. A divorce is another event that might contribute to a tumultuous midlife. Oh man. Yeah, I can see how that can be like, I can see for most people around already dealing with the midlife crisis and then having something so heavy as a divorce in the middle of it all. I couldn't imagine. A divorce is another event that might contribute to tumultuous midlife. Separating from a longtime partner can lead to conflicting emotions such as sadness, anger, and confusion. If you have children, divorce can also complicate your family dynamics. Yeah. Where to have Thanksgiving dinner, where to have Christmas, who's going to spend time with who. Yeah. Career changes. A 2019 survey by Indeed revealed that on average, people who change careers do so at 39 years old. Many people are juggling new work responsibilities as they enter midlife. If you don't switch careers, you might reach more senior positions at your current job. Even if those positions offer higher pay, they will come with new responsibilities that increase your stress. Other middle-aged adults find that their career is plateauing. Repetition in your daily tasks might contribute to a lack of fulfillment in the workplace. Yes, I think a lot of people are experiencing that. I think, especially with the internet and all the other possibilities of things that you could do, I think feeling unsatisfied in your current job is way more likely nowadays. Changes in financial situation. Many of the aforementioned events can affect your financial stability. You might need to spend more money as you act as a caretaker for your parents, or perhaps switching careers requires you to reduce your spending. Job loss and sudden changes in the labor market can also cause financial strain at a time when you feel you should be more secure. Yeah, we're going to get back into this crazy labor and economic market because it's crazy for people right now. If you have adult children who are experiencing financial hardship, you might contend with additional stress. Research shows that middle-aged parents have increased anxiety and depressed mood when their children's economic future appears to be in jeopardy. Indeed. Childhood adversity as a risk factor. Interesting. Certain childhood experiences can increase the risk of health consequences even as you reach adulthood. These health factors may then make your midlife more stressful, contributing to a sense of crisis. For example, experiencing the death of a parent as a child can increase the likelihood of depression later in life. Growing up in poverty might increase the risk of chronic stress and heart disease in adulthood. That's interesting. Okay. Being treated poorly by your parents or seeing them go through a divorce can have similar negative effects. These consequences aren't set in stone. However, various coping strategies can help you manage midlife stressors as well as see past society's often negative interpretation of the aging process. Okay, this article is really, really long, but I'm going to try to jump to something that will actually be beneficial. So, let's go to adjusting your perception of midlife and aging. If you focus exclusively on the negatives, you'll find plenty of reasons to be unhappy in midlife. But remember that every stage of life comes with its share of ups and downs. Use the following strategies to shift your focus to the positive aspects of midlife. Practice gratitude. Look to your accomplishments. Ask yourself, how have I grown? Reframe setbacks as opportunities for growth. So I think it's super important if you are 40 something or older and you're experiencing any of these things that we discussed when it comes to a midlife crisis, you definitely want to look at, I would say strongly, the number one suggestion: practice gratitude. Give yourself a moment to look at what you do have versus what you think you should have or what you could have. Because a lot of us, by the time we reach 40, we've definitely gained some things, whether knowledge, financial things. We've gained so much that it's invaluable to carry us throughout our aging adulthood. So yeah, you may feel a little more stiff. You can't run as fast or run as long or walk as long as you used to, but you are still able to walk, run, or whatever. Focus on that and keep building on that. You may not be in the career that you feel fulfilled in, but in that career, I'm sure you have developed some really valuable skills that can help you move into a new career space or even create your own business, if you will, or create your own consulting firm. So, and if you're having challenges in relationships, I believe that there's probably some things that you've learned along the way and what things to not do more likely, but also look forward to building uh, new communication skills and trying to get better with the relationships that you currently have. And if you're seeking a group or community to help you with this aging process, learning new communication skills and things like that can be really, really helpful. So, yes, a lot of us are going through midlife crisis. I think some of us are going through a crisis in a greater way than others. But I think all of us are going through just a little bit of it every day. But I would encourage you that my strong belief is that if you look at the small things that you already have, you can build on those, and you can use this time in your life to be like the greatest time of your life, because one thing you have now is experience and knowledge, a wealth of it, versus what you had in your teens and your 20s and maybe even in your 30s. So it's definitely not the end of the road for any of us. So, all right, y'all, that's all for this video. Please subscribe to this channel and give me a like. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye for now.
I gotta show you how I love you like I've never ever loved somebody. I'll give you things you didn't even know you wanted. Don't tell me that it's not enough. My time is up, you're over us. 'Cause I think